I just had a funny little moment. When you're seeing yourself on the Facebook Live camera, as I am right now, it's sometimes mirrored. So I was kind of giving myself the wax on wave. And yeah, anyways, funny little internet moment. I don't have a big spiel for you guys today, so let's just get into the Q&A. Ralph says, do you think SEO services market is oversaturated at this point? I would say yes and no. In terms of selling it, I kid you not, Ralph, if you have a number one ranking website, as I have many times, in fact, the higher you rank, the more messages you get. I get the we are latest greatest SEO company at least 100 times per week, every week, minimum. And the higher you are in the search engine rankings, that number can be close to 1,000. So if you're like the 1,001st person showing up offering the same thing as everyone else, like that's a really uphill battle. But as far as the delivery side, in terms of like qualified people who are really good at SEO, who can actually rank, um, I would say that's a much smaller number. And one of the things you can do to easily stand out for the noise is just pick a type of client. Like if you just do plastic surgery SEO or dental SEO, that alone will at the very least give you a little bit of way to stand out from everybody else. But I kid you not, 100 messages a week are coming in for SEO minimum. So yes, in a way, the selling part of it is oversaturated, and some of them are too lazy to even change the message. Like they literally use the same template. So do something to be different. Often it's more important to be different than it is to actually be good. Jason, do you still send proposals to close clients? No, haven't for a long time. Our agency is probably a little bit different than most in the current iteration that I'm working at. And this is my third agency since 2007. Um, I don't even get on the phone to close clients. Like I don't chase people with phone calls and do these long-winded pitches and things. I just send them much shorter, like little quick messages, a couple of questions, and a little video that explains the details. And when you have a really good offer, it allows you to skip a lot of those steps that most people are doing. So like the person asked before, is SEO oversaturated? If you're selling SEO, you're going to have to send a proposal to prove yourself, to explain how long it's going to go, and all those kind of things. But if you have a unique and different offer and it's really valuable, you get to skip the line and all of that. Jay, I have a VA working for me who I got online from onlinejobs.ph. She's a good worker. I just noticed I keep getting notification that she has been hired by someone else like every 6 weeks. Has anyone had this problem? It seems like she's constantly trying to upgrade and or just do 3 jobs at once for the most pay. Any help would be appreciated. Jay, I don't think it's the end of the world that they have ambition. Having said that, two things that I find that'll help you in that. One is just to tell them I'm looking for somebody who's going to be full-time just for me, because they will do a more focused job. There's just more of like a relationship and an attachment than if they're just looking to move on to the next thing, and if they have that sort of hit and grab mentality. As well, just making sure you're paying them enough, because if they're not able to earn enough from just working from you, then you're never going to be able to have 100% of their attention. But I don't think it's an unreasonable ask as an employer, if you're paying well and you have something of real value, just to say, I'm looking for somebody just to work for me. If that's not you, that's totally cool. And to screen for those people, because I wouldn't necessarily recommend having somebody whose attention is focused in 3 places. And not just that, they'll tend not to care about your projects the same way as if it's like part of their own company, because they're just waiting for the next client. So that's just been my experience. Jason, I recently acquired a hypnotherapist client and currently in the planning phase for their Facebook lead gen campaign. I've mapped out a direct offer and lead magnet funnel strategy for her, and will be summoning a meeting to pitch the strategy as well as the estimated timeline for the deliverables. I was wondering if I could consult a battle plan. You're far more experienced over a Zoom call. Someone hopefully willing to give up their time and help a newbie out. Thanks in advance. Jason, I wanted to share this one just because I think a lot of people would benefit from this. And here's the thing, is trying to sign the client and then figure out the deliverables is actually the backwards way of doing it. A lot of times how we actually make our offers better is to first think about the deliverables that are going to be the most meaningful. And the way I think about it is if I only had like a day or 2 days or an hour to get this client a result, like what would I do in that time? And that's how I start all my kind of offers and why they work a lot better. If you think about your typical SEO or in your case, ad funnel, what you're going to propose to this person right now is, I'm going to test some offers and some ideas, and then after some tests, we're going to get some data, and based on that data, we're going to refine, and then we're going to try and follow up with these people. You're going to have a really hard time actually being honest about when those deliverables will come in, because you don't honestly know until you test all the offers. What you can say is, like, if you give me enough time, I will find the solution. But having said that, you'll make your life far, far easier if before you get the hypnotherapist, you bring something to the table, say like, hey, I want to run this campaign for you because I know it's got a high probability of working. What do you say? You'll have a better chance of closing them and knowing what you're supposed to do after. So I'm not giving you a hard time, because I think we all start there where you just try and get the client. They say, can you do this? And you say yes, and then you figure it out after the fact. Like, I've been there myself, so I'm not giving you a hard time about it. But you'll make your life easier if you think more about, like, intentionally, who do I want to work for? What could I do to deliver them the result? And then show up and offer them that. And then what will happen is you'll know exactly what to do after. You won't get stuck in the figuring it out. And another like big shortcut you could use on that, by the way, is I've seen this before and done this before myself, but there's almost always somebody who's already got a working funnel for hypnotherapists in your case. So if you're willing to pay them a licensing fee, they would probably give it to you, and then you don't have to figure it out. And that's more value add to the client, because you can say, I can put copy and paste campaigns that'll probably work for you on day one. That's way better of an offer than, hey, I'm going to test a bunch of angles and try it and map out your funnel, and we're going to get some data and feedback, and hopefully it'll work after a while. So those are some things to think about for the next time. But as far as if you want someone to look at the strategy you're going to do, send it over. I will happily take a look, or you can post it in the group, and I'm sure you'll get the feedback of some other very smart people. Susan, I'm fairly new to the world of virtual assistants. Can you give me a rundown of what they do for your business, where you found to hire them, an expected rate, salary, how you deal with taxes, etc.? I'm interested if this could possibly enhance my business. Susan, if you're thinking about it, it probably would help your business, but I will tell you there is a learning curve to bringing in employees. It sounds like for you this would be your first ever employee, and basically, there's a saying that says, I run faster by myself, but I run farther together. And that's what a virtual assistant or, staff in general and employees will help you to do, is you're able to service way more clients and do way more things and make way more money and actually do less personally, because you're cloning yourself and your processes and your decision making around the business. So you can have virtual assistants do cold outreach, you can have them manage clients, you can have them do all kinds of tech stuff, setting up landing pages and campaigns and managing Facebook and all those things, so that you just have to think about the strategy. Like, one of the things that we're moving to inside of like our coaching program, for example, is setting it up so we bring the value by understanding the 1 to 3 sentence offer that gets people to say yes, and then we have virtual assistants do all the prospecting for us and set up all the appointments, and then we get the interested people and even moving towards, which I haven't got there yet, but even moving towards having other people close them for you, so that your value isn't coming up with a big idea and then the team does the implementation of it. So it allows you to really multiply your resources. And I don't know whether you do ads or SEO or whatever, but they can also do manage backlinks and campaigns for you. Especially repetitive, tedious article writing, things like that. They're really, really good for that. And then, of course, you can have an employee do anything. Now, as far as you mentioned, how much to pay them, my personal philosophy is to find out where the market is really, really at there and offer somewhere from like 10 to 20% higher. So let's just say the market today is at $300 a month to hire somebody to write articles, then I would be at a minimum of like $350 probably, because I want to be better than whatever else they're going against. Or if it's $400, you might change that to $450. It depends on the job, but I always you can easily figure it out by just looking at a couple of other jobs and what they're offering, and then I always want to be just a little bit higher than those ones. As far as how to deal with the taxes, I can't really probably give you an answer because we might even not be in the same place. But for the most part, employees are a write-off. But I would obviously, talk to an accountant. They know far more about taxes than I do. But as far as the executing stuff in your business, you'll be able to go a lot farther and do less personally, because it's you bringing the big picture value, but not doing all the day-to-day grunt work kind of things. Pritesh, as an agency owner, what performance reporting do you provide for your clients with, and how often? Typically, what I like to do is actually 2 weeks. And I used to, like, for a lot of years, use like all kinds of software to like send them automated reports. Always, the clients would say, these reports look really, really nice. What am I looking at? Can you call me and explain what I'm seeing? Or can you send me an email and explain what I'm seeing? And then I realized the reports, while they look nice and they presented a professional image, at the end of the day, the client had no fucking idea what you were doing, how you were doing, and whether they should make an educated decision or not to continue. So I've kept it really, really simple for the last, I don't know, like 5 years. I just make a little screen recording video. You can make them for free on Loom. And I just send a little video. I personally send them every 2 weeks. And they just say, here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, and then I update them on the 4 things that they most need to know. What are the results? What are the timelines? What are the costs? And what are we going to communicate? And if you do that, I find clients tend to love it, because it's just plain English and it's not confusing. And then what you'll find is they'll be happier with their reporting, even though it's kind of like less professional looking, if you will. They feel informed and they feel like you're a team together, and those clients tend to stay longer, because a lot of it's not just about, how can I get this quick and overly as the reporting overly as quick as possible, but actually you want to do it in such a way where the reporting is actually benefiting the client, because they understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that will make them stay longer in some cases than even actually doing a really good job. Because I've heard one of my mentors said, when it comes to like him hiring people like us, he said, I don't tolerate brilliant assholes. And he always felt like if you hire a company but the reporting is confusing, it's almost like they're holding you hostage. So it's a really, really small but important detail. And I would say just make a screen video. So like if you're running Facebook ads, you say, here's the campaigns we're running this month, here's why we're running them this way, here's some of the numbers that you need to know, and here's what I expect for you going forward in those 4 areas that I mentioned. Those are really good reports. And say you're doing SEO, you'd say, these were your rankings last month. These are why we're going after these keywords, because these are the money keywords. We've done our research, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we're working on next month. I'm not going to get you to #1 next month, but you see this keyword, it's 30. If I can get it to 20, that's really good movement. And we're going to just keep doing that month after month and plugging away, that kind of thing. That's really, really valuable to clients. Last question I got, Kurt. I have a Google My Business client who's a chiropractor who has over 100 legitimate Google reviews, but when a patient tries to submit a review to Yelp, every single one is blocked, resulting in 0 Yelp reviews. As her agent, I'm trying to work through this. Recommendations. Kurt, this is not a unique problem, and I've had this in every industry. The nicest I can say this is Yelp are criminals. Like, for real, like Yelp are criminals. And I mean that because they... the image they present to the public is very different than how they actually run. They're anything but a neutral review site. They often try and extort businesses and get them into paid plans in order for their actual reviews to show. But the thing about it is, the #1 reason Yelp reviews don't stick is because it's a brand new account without any reviews. So whenever you have somebody who comes into that business, it's important to ask them, like, hey, do you have a Yelp review? So like I always suggest any business have some kind of feedback loop that they put in place. So one of the simple ways you can do that is just have a little form you give to your clients that they can keep on the counter or nearby or at the front desk, where somebody can just answer like, how are we doing? And if it's a good response, you always like want to try and turn those into reviews and say, hey, do you mind leaving that online? And then it's a good thing in that step to ask them, do you have a Yelp account? Are you an active Yelper? Because if the answer is yes, you usually only need like 2 or 3 good ones to drown out the noise, because Yelp filters so many as it is. But that's the only way I've ever seen Yelp reviews to stick. And I don't know, it's just kind of it's a pain in the ass to deal with Yelp, because like you said, you get 100 reviews and they don't stick. But if they are aged Yelp accounts, they more than likely will actually stick. So that's all I got for you on that. I hope that is useful, and I will see you guys next week. My daughter actually just turned 1 year old, so it's been interesting week over here. I'm getting old. When my second daughter is turning 1. It's somebody who said it as for those who are parents that the days are long because you're often tired for at least a good part of the day, but the months and the years are really, really fast, and that's definitely been my experience. So, anyways, much love for you guys. I'm going to post the replay of this on YouTube, and we got some more cool stuff. I'm going to be showing you more about like inside some really cool agencies as we go forward. So, much love, and talk soon.